Alright, this is Chapter 3, Homework 2. Let's start with 3-79. Write an equation of the line containing the points below in the table. So we need to find the zero term and the slope, and use y equals mx plus b. So let's first find the growth, or the slope. F of x is kind of like y, so the change in y is from 3 to 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Alright, and then the change in x is, we're going from 2 to 4, so 4 minus 2 is 2. Therefore, slope is equal to 1 over 2. Change in y over change in x. So we've got y equals 1/2 x plus, and I'll let you find the starting value. An easy way to do it would be find when x is 0, and what would y be? 3-81. Okay, you're going to want to use patty paper for this. I'll just do it on the screen. Rotate this rectangle counterclockwise about the origin to create the rectangle a prime, b prime, c prime, d prime. So let's do that first. When you rotate it counterclockwise, b prime goes here. A prime goes here. So then you can kind of fill in the rest of the rectangle. It's a lot easier if you have patty paper. Make sure you draw a plus sign right at the origin. We've got c prime and we've got d prime. So it says to give the coordinates to c prime, which is going to be -5, -1. Okay, reflect the rectangle across the vertical line, x equals 1. X equals 1 is a special line. If you go to the x-axis, you find the number 1, and then you draw the line. Now it says reflect rectangle ABCD, that's going to be the original one. So with reflections, you can just kind of count to the line of reflection. B is 2 units away on the left side, so B double prime is going to be 2 units away on the other side. And we've got A, which is going to be a little bit off the graph. And then you just redraw it as a mirror image, C double prime, A double prime. And then D is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units away from this line of reflection. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be D double prime. I'm supposed to do C double prime. There it is. That's going to be 3, 5. All right. Go ahead and try C and D. 3-90. What is the area of each part of the entire rectangle at the right? To find the area, you multiply the outside terms. X times x is x squared. Multiply the outside terms. 3 times x is 3x. 8 times 3 is 24. And 8 times x is 8x. So the area is x squared plus 8x plus 3x plus 24. However, we can combine like terms. 8x plus 3x is 11x. And x squared, there's no other x squared term, so we'll leave that squared. Okay, then it says what's the area of the whole figure? So area is also equal to x plus 8 times x plus 3, because this is the length. The length is x plus 8. This is the width, x plus 3, and length times width, that expression. Write the area of the rectangle as a product and a sum. The last thing they want you to do is write an equal sign in the middle. So because these are both the area, They're both equal. It's just written in a different form. So that's the final answer. 3-91. Solve for x, show your work, check your solutions. Let's try B. I'm going to isolate x, and to do that, I'll add 37 to each side. Negative 84 plus 37. Let me use a calculator so I don't make a mistake here. It's going to be negative 47. And then we have the equal sign. This is a zero pair, so that cancels. And then 1/2 times x. All right. So the opposite of taking half of a number is multiplying the number by 2. So if you multiply each side by 2, 2 times 1/2, that's just 1x. Or normally we just write x. And then negative 47 times 2, that's the answer. All right, you can do A and D, and then I'll do C. But let me check my answer first. So for checking, it's going to be 1/2 times negative 94 minus 37 is supposed to equal negative 84. 1/2 times negative 94 is negative 47 minus 37 equals negative 84. And using the calculator, we have confirmed the answer is correct. All right, part C. Now, this one has 2 fractions, so what I'm going to do is use a technique called cross multiply. You take the bottom of each side and you multiply it across. So it's going to be 3x times 7 equals sign 6 times 4. So the 4 came across to the right, 7 came across to the left. 3x times 7 is 21x. 4 times 6 is 24. Divide both sides by 21, and x is equal to that fraction, which you can simplify. You can divide the top and bottom by 3. So x is 8 over 7. Plugging that in to check, let's see. So we've got 3 times x divided by 4. That's supposed to equal 6 over 7. Well, 3 times 8 over 7, that's just like 24 over 7. Let me rewrite this down here. And we're checking our work here. And when you divide by a 4, it's kind of like multiplying by 1 over 4. Think about 4 as 4 over 1. If you divide by 4 over 1, it's the same as changing divide to multiply and taking the reciprocal. Well, 4 over 1 becomes 1 over 4. And that's supposed to equal 6 over 7. So let's see, 24 times 1 is 24 over 28. And then it turns out, yeah, that's true. If you divide the top by 4, that's 6. And if you divide the bottom by 4, that's 7. So that was actually a pretty hard one. Let's try 392. For each expression below, simplify positive exponents. A lot of people miss this one on the test, so let's go over this one. This is equal to, when you have 2 numbers and they have the same base, you subtract the exponents. So it's 3 subtract negative 2. When you subtract a negative number, it's the same as adding it. So this is actually x to the power 5. All right, I'll let you do the ones on top. Let's look at D. Okay, this is 2 to the power 1, x to the power negative 1. So we've got power to a power. That's going to be 2 to the power 3, x to the power -1 times 3. So when you have power to a power, the exponents multiply. 2 to the power 3 is 8, 8x to the power -3, and because that's negative, we have to cross the line, change the little sign. $393. Write and solve an equation. Be sure to define your variable. Samantha currently has $1,500 in the bank. So the starting value, $1,500. She's spending $35 per week. So her growth, if you think about it, is -35. She's spending it. Let's make a little table, x, y. When x is 0, we have $1,500. After 1 week, we take away 35. And we get $1,465. After a second week, we take away 35 again and get $1,430, and so on. Okay, so we make an equation. There's our starting value, there's our growth. Y equals -35x plus 1,500. What did x represent? Weeks. So x equals weeks, and what did y represent? Money in the bank. I'll let you answer this question. How many weeks will it take until her account only has $915? So use that equation, use 915, and which letter do you plug it in for, x or y? 34. Graph the triangle ABC with these vertices. A is 8, -4. B is, so we'll call that A. B is 8, 1. And then C is 2, 0. All right, the area of the triangle is 1/2 times its base times the height. So that's going to be 1/2 times, now we need to find the base. What's confusing about this one is this is actually the base. Like the triangle's been pushed over on its side. So let's count up the base. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the height, since it's pushed over on its side, this is actually the height. So that is, if we start from the base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 1/2 times 5 times 6. All right, we can put these numbers over 1 and just multiply straight across. 1 times 5 times 6. 30. 2 times 1 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And then if you times it by 1 again, it's still 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15 units square, because it's area, so you put unit square. All right, let's rotate this 180 degrees. Doesn't give a direction because it doesn't really matter. And around the origin, so use your trace paper, draw the plus sign at the origin, and C prime is here. B prime rotates over here. And then A prime is going to be right there. Oh, and we're supposed to name the coordinates. So I'll let you do C and D. Let's name those coordinates real quick. A prime is going to be -8, 4. B prime is going to be, let's see, -8, -1. And then c prime, that's going to be -2, 0. So you notice it has the same coordinates as a, but every number has flipped. So like 8 became -8, -4 became 4. 8 is -8, 1 is -1. So you can notice that. 3-101. Go ahead and try A and C. I'll go over B and D. Starting with B, let's fill in the boxes, multiply together. This is the most common mistake. 2m squared times 3m is actually 6m to the power 3. When you multiply the two m's, their exponents are going to add. -4m times 3m is, well, -12. And since m times m is m squared, there you go. -1 times 3m is just 3m, but a negative times a positive stays negative. Okay? 2m squared times 5. 5 times 2 is 10, so this is 10m squared. Then we got -4m times 5. It's -20m. And -1 times 5 is -5. Let's combine like terms. So our answer is going to be 6m cubed. And then if we combine the m squared terms, all that's left over is -2m squared. Combining the m terms, that's -23m. And then subtract 5. It does say area as product is equal to the area as a sum. So you are supposed to write an equal sign. And then let's multiply the length times the width. So the length is going to be, I think I'm going to have to go to the next line. I'm out of space. You put it in parentheses, that's the length, times the width is 3m plus 5. All right, D. There's no box, so I'm going to draw it. It's 2 terms by 2 terms. So let's say this is going to be 3 minus 5y on the top. And then we've got 2 plus y. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times -5y is -10y. 3 times y is 3y. And y times -5y. Remember the exponents add there. So -5y squared. So this is the area as a product. It's already written it out. It's already written out for us. And let's combine like terms as we write our answer. This is equal to, write an equal sign, minus 5y squared. And then these combine to make -7y plus 6. So 3y minus 10y is equal to -7y. That's how I got that. 3-102. Let's use the distributive property. Part A. Distributive property, distribute the -4y. -4y times 5x is -20yx. Now it's usual to write this in alphabetical order, so I'm going to write it as xy. Okay, then -4y times 8y. That's going to be -32y squared. Try B, let's do C. This is 2 terms by 3 terms, so we have to draw one of those giant boxes. And notice it doesn't say area as product, area as sum. We just have to calculate the product. So we all have to do the equal sign thing for this one. So we'll put x squared minus 2, and then we'll have x squared plus 3x plus 5. Alright. X squared times x squared is actually x to the power 4. Exponents add. X squared times 3x, that's 3x to the power 1. So this is going to be 3x to the power 3. 3 times x squared is that. 5 times x squared is just 5x squared. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x, and negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Combine like terms. Those are not like terms. Those are not like terms. So these x squared terms are the only ones that are like terms. So we have x to the power 4 plus 3x cubed plus 5x squared minus 2x squared, that's just 3x squared, minus 6x minus 10. 3-103. Let's graph these points. A is negative 4, 3. B is negative 6, 1. And C is negative 8, 5. It says a triangle, so I'm going to make a triangle. Alright, let's rotate this thing clockwise to form A prime, B prime, C prime. Let's do it in a different color. What are the coordinates of A prime? So you draw this on your trace paper. Make sure you draw about the origin, so draw your plus sign at the origin. And when you rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, let's see. Here's A prime. Here's B prime. And here's C prime. Alright, A prime, that's what it wants. The coordinates of A prime, that's 3, 4. 3, 4. So if you notice from A to A prime, the x and the y switched. And now it's positive 4 instead of negative 4. Alright, apply this function. I'll give you a hint and then you can do this one on your own. X plus 5, y plus 1. X plus 5 means we're on the x-axis and we're going towards the right because positive's towards the right. So move right 5. It's a translation. So take this triangle and move right 5. And then we have y plus 1. And up on the y-axis is positive direction, so y plus 1 means go up 1 also. So take this triangle, go right 5, up 1. 3-114. We want to solve this equation. What's an easier equation we can solve instead? Well, there's 3 terms. Each of them has 3 zeros. So we're allowed to move the decimal place over 3 times. This is the same as dividing everything by 1,000. So maybe I'll write it like that, divide each term by 1,000. So that's going to be 4x minus 8 equals 16. Alright, so we're supposed to justify. So we've got 4x minus 8 equals 16. If you add 8 to each side, we've got 4x equals 24. Divide both sides by 4. And x is equal to 6. Okay, now if we take that 6 and plug it in here, let's see what happens. Okay, so replace x with 6, and we're trying to justify this thing. 4,000 times 6, you can use a calculator, or just realize that 6 times 4 is 24, and we'll put 3 zeros at the end of it. And yeah, in fact, 24,000 minus 8,000 is 16,000. So it's the same solution. Alright, you can try C. I'll give you hints. If you divide everything by 100, something really easy to do is just multiply each term by 100. Oops, not 1,000. Everything is divided by 100, so do the opposite of dividing by 100. Multiply each term by 100, and you'll get x plus 3 equals 8. That's pretty easy, so give it a shot. Solve that one. Okay, 3-115. Examine the rectangle. Here's the perimeter, and then we have to choose an equation. Okay, so this side of the rectangle, 6x minus 1. That means the opposite side will be 6x minus 1. This is 2x plus 5. So the opposite side will be 2x plus 5. So the perimeter is going to be, if we add up all the sides, so 6x minus 1 plus 6x minus 1 plus 2x plus 5 plus 2x plus 5. It's adding those two sides, so we added one side, two sides, three sides, four sides. And if you add everything up, it should add to 120. Okay, look, there's two of these. So instead of adding it twice, we can just say 2 times 6x minus 1. Plus, and this repeats 2 times, so instead of adding it to itself twice, you know, like 3 plus 2, oops. Let's say 4 plus 4. Instead of writing 4 plus 4, which is 8, you can write 2 times 4, right? So that's kind of the same idea I'm doing here. Instead of writing something plus itself, I'm writing 2 times that. Same for this, 2 times 2x plus 5, and that's equal to 120. So as you can see, the answer is going to be C, I think. Let's see, double check. Yes. Alright, so that's our equation. Now I'll leave it up to you to solve for x. And the hint is distribute the 2, 12x minus 2 plus dot 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 equals 120. So solve for x, see what x is. 3, 116. Let's simplify these down, and apparently more than one answer is possible. So I'll go ahead and do this one. We haven't covered that, but we've covered kind of the idea, a power to a power. So this is 144 to the power 1. That's going to be equal to 144 to the power 1 times a half, and then x to the power 12 times a half. So that's going to be 1 times a half is just 1/2, and 12 times a half, half of 12, 6. All right. What do you do with a fractional exponent? Use your calculator. And what you'll find out is that's actually equal to 12. So this is one of them. If you're wondering why that is, there's a rule you'll learn about in a later math class that says x, let's use 144. 144 to the power 1/2, that's the same thing as saying the square root of 144. And like 25 to the power 1/2, that's the same thing as saying square root of 25. So when you say 144 to the power 1/2, to the power 1/2 means square root it. And square rooting 144 gets you 12. All right, let's see, I'll do this one as well. A, 3 times 2x cubed squared. Remember to do the exponents first. I'm thinking PEMDAS. So the exponents, let's do that. We have 3 times 2 to the power 1, x to the power 3, raised to the power 2. So this is going to be 2 to the power 1 times 2 is 2, and x to the power 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, 2 squared, 2 to the power 2, that's just 4. 4x to the power 6. And 3 times 4x to the power 6, if we multiply, there's another one. 12x to the power 6. Try B, try D. (3-117). Multiply, show your work. Alright, I'm going to use the FOIL method. X times 4x is 4x squared. X times 5, that's plus 5x. 3 times 4x, that's plus 12x. 3 times 5, that's plus 15. You combine the like terms in the middle to get your answer. Try B, try C. I'll go over D with you. Let's also use FOIL, just so you can see a different method versus the box. If you're drawing the box on this one, you're going to want to draw a 2x3 box. Y minus 4, and then 3x plus 5y minus 2. But here's how FOIL works for these. Y times 3x That's just 3xy. Y times 5y, that's going to be plus 5y squared. Y times negative 2, that's negative 2y. So we finish y, and then we move on to negative 4 and pretty much do the same thing. Negative 4 times 3x, that's going to be minus 12x. Negative 4 times 5y, that's going to be minus 20y. And then negative 4 times negative 2 is plus 8. And then you go through and check for like terms. As you can see, there's a negative 2y and a negative 20y. And then that's pretty much it. Everything else is unique. So we have 3xy plus 5y squared minus 22y minus 12x plus 8. And that's fine. Typically you write the squared terms first, but you don't have to. I'm going to do it just because it's a good habit to get into. 5y squared plus 3xy. So it's just the same two terms, but I switch the order. Addition is commutative, so I'm allowed to do that. Okay, 3-118. Find the result when the transformation is performed. I'm just going to let you guys do these. Use patty paper. I feel like this is well understood in class. Okay, fraction busters. These are pretty hard. So let's go over how to do a couple of these. You can do A, and then let's start on B. So, fraction busters. You find an equation. The first fraction has a denominator of 3. So that means I need to multiply each term by 3. 3 times negative 2x divided by 3. Minus 3 times x divided by 7 equals 3 times 17, 54, 51. 51. Okay, now negative 6x divided by 3 is negative 2x. Other ones stay the same, so that's why we do this. Now the fraction's gone, it's vanished. So then we go through and we see there's another fraction. It has a denominator of 7. So let's multiply each of the 3 terms, let's multiply them by 7. 7 times negative 2x is negative 14x. 7 times negative 3x is minus 21x, and is still being divided by 7, equals 7 times 51, 357. Now the reason we do this is, look, 21x divided by 7, that's just minus 3x. So minus 3x, 7 goes into 21 3 times. And negative 14x minus 3x is negative 17x, which is equal to 357. Solve for x, divide both sides by negative 17. X equals negative 21. Part C. Go to the first fraction, I see a 2. So here's an alternate strategy. It's a little bit less work, so listen up. Multiply each of the terms by the first denominator you see, which is 2. Okay, so instead of multiplying 2 times 5, think about this. 5 times 2 divided by 2. Multiplying and dividing by 2, those just cancel each other out. So instead of actually multiplying out like I did for the last one, I can just cross off the 2's and write 5x minus. Okay, this one, there's a 2 on the top, but there's dividing by 3, so those don't cancel each other out. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 over 3. So the first one, the 2's could cancel each other out, but for this one, there's no 2 on the bottom, so the 2 stays. Alright, so we've got 26 at the end, 2 times 13. I still have a fraction, so I'm going to multiply each term by the denominator, which is 3. 3 times 5x is 15x minus, now 3 times 2 divided by 3, look, I'm multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3. Those are like opposites of each other. So instead, I can just cross off the 3's, and all that's left, 2. 3 times 26 is 78. So we have 15x equals 80, and we'll divide both sides by 15. X is equal to 80 over 15. Now, we need to simplify that. I can actually divide the top and bottom by 5. 80 divided by 5 is 16. And 5 divided by 5 is 3. Alright, make sure you do D, make sure you do A. Okay, for these ones, again, I'm not going to help you out. Just do your best, and if you're using patty paper, these shouldn't be too bad. 341, this is the last one. Let's do this. Part A, distribute the 2. Actually, let me do B. This one's a little harder. So on the left side, distribute the 6. 6 times 2x is 12x minus 6 times 5 is 30. So that's 12x minus 30 equals, you have to distribute the negative sign on this one. So this becomes minus x minus 4. Okay, and you find the smaller x, which is this one. So let's add x to each side. 12x plus x is 13x minus 30 equals negative 4. And then solve for x, add 30. 13x equals 30, oops. Negative 4 plus 30, that's like 30 minus 4. So we need to borrow a 1 from over here, 0 goes to 10. So that's 26. And divide both sides by 13, and you're at x equals 2. Make sure to check your answer. I'm running low on time here, so I'll let you guys do that. Part C, distribute that negative sign. Don't forget. So this is 2 minus y minus 2. That plus 2 becomes minus 2. And that's equal to 3y. Ah, this is a good one. So 2 and minus 2 combine like terms. 2 minus 2 is 0. So we have 0 minus y equals 3y. And 0 minus y, that's just negative y. Alright, a lot of people write no solution. That's wrong. Some people write all real numbers. That's also wrong. So what you need to do is pick the smaller y, which is this one. Make a 0 pair, so we'll add y to each side. Negative y plus y, that's 0, equals 4y. Then we divide both sides by the number in front of y, which is 4. So y is equal to 0 divided by 4, which is just 0. Answer, 0. Makes sense, right? Because if you plug in 0, that's 2 minus 2, because that's 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 minus 2, so that'd be 0. And on the right side, 3 times 0 is 0. So it works. Make sure you do D, make sure you do A.